Kansas, Austin P would be the first game that you need to pick. So I'm assuming you're going to pick Kansas there.
Yeah, I am. I think Bill's team is very good. They're playing well. They haven't been a great tournament team in past years, but I think they will be this year, and I think that they have a great chance to go a long way in the tournament, so I would select Kansas, yes.
All right, Colorado, Connecticut. It's an 8-9 game.
Okay, 8-9 game. I would probably take Connecticut. I think Colorado is really a lot better. For the people who are trying to decide, Colorado's come a long way. Connecticut's had a lot of experience in the league, in tournaments, excuse me. So, I would pick Connecticut. That doesn't mean that's right, but that's who I'd pick.
Well, yeah. Okay, the 12-5 was up to every year. Maryland, South Dakota State.
Maryland's an up and down team. They just have not played very well in some games, and sometimes they play terrific. But I know that the 12-5 game is sort of an upset area, but I'm going to take Maryland.
I'm going to take Maryland there. All right, the 4-13 game, you got California versus Hawaii.
I'm going to take Hawaii in this game. Hawaii's got a very good basketball team. Oh, yeah, Hawaii's going to win this game, and no doubt about that. They'll beat California. California's leading scorer broke his hand last night or yesterday. But even with that, I would take Hawaii in that game. Okay, so going down in the South region, Arizona will take on Wichita State, who beat Vanderbilt. Who you take in the 6-11 game, Arizona, Wichita State? Well, based on Wichita State's really good win over Vanderbilt. However, Vanderbilt went 3 for 19. Haven't decided whether that was Wichita State's defense or Vanderbilt's poor shooting. I'm going to stay with 6. I'm going to stay with Arizona. All right. Miami, the 3 seed versus Buffalo. Well, Tim's done a great job. Larenego's been a friend for a long time, been on our show. We'll have him probably again if we can. He's got a basketball team that finished one game out of the ACC. I would take them to beat Buffalo. All right. We got Iowa and Temple, a 7-10 game. You better be careful with this one. Iowa is up and down. They play good one day and bad one day. I'm going to take a little bit of an upset here and go with Temple. Temple. All right, and then Villanova, the 2 seed, will take on, I think it's Eddie Beatenbach. Eddie well. He used to be at Georgia with Hugh Durham. UNC Ashland, Villanova. Well, certainly we're going to take Villanova in this game. They're 2 seeds, so I would take them. All right, slide down to the west. We got Oregon, which surprised me to get the number 1 seed. Oregon will play Holy Cross, who beat Southern last night. Didn't get a chance to watch a little bit of that game. So Oregon, Holy Cross. Well, I'll take Oregon. Oregon, I saw them play Alabama this year. They had a couple of guys hurt. Talked to Coach before the game. He said if they got them all well, they were going to be pretty good, and they were, so I'll take Oregon. All right, St. Joseph, Cincinnati. I don't know a lot about either one of them. I know Cincinnati got really hosed on a long shot that Connecticut made against them. I'm going to take St. Joe in this game. St. Joe. All right, Baylor, Yale. That old tricky 12-5 matchup, Baylor and Yale. Well, a lot of people go with Yale. I'm not going to. Yale is the first time since 1962. I'm thrilled for them. Baylor, I think, is a potential team that can go a little bit further than John Q. Fan thinks they can. They've got the ability to go a long way. They're a little bit like Maryland sometimes in that they're hot and cold. I take Baylor to beat Yale. All right, and then before we get to break, Duke and Kevin Keats in North Carolina, Wilmington. Kevin's a good friend of mine. He coached at Louisville. Rick Pitino is over at UNC Wilmington now. Duke, UNC Wilmington. Well, I don't know how far Duke will go. A lot of people are picking Wilmington in this game. I don't know a lot about them, so I'm naturally a guy that doesn't know a lot about Wilmington. Would have to pick Duke, and I will. I'll pick Duke. Yeah, not a tough pick there. No, I think Duke will take care of that game. All right, so here we go. Going back through the bracket here. We're in the West region. We got Texas, Northern Iowa. Texas and Northern Iowa. We didn't get started. We were doing Oregon and Holy Cross. We got one of those. We hadn't done the rest of them, have we?
We did Oregon, Holy Cross. You picked
Texas, Northern Iowa. There are a lot of people who picked Northern Iowa in that game. So I'm telling you all that are listening to this, so you can think it through. Don't just because I coach doesn't mean I know all this. It's been a long time. I would take Texas in the game. Shaka Smart's a good basketball coach. I think that'll be a tough game for Texas A&M because of the rivalry there, which will be the next game we'll pick. But I would pick Texas in that game. I'm going to tell all you people, you need to pick some upsets. And if you're looking to pick some upsets occasionally, then that might be one that you want to think about.
All right, so I'm assuming you're taking Texas A&M versus Green Bay.
I am taking Texas A&M. Hope Billy's team wins. Green Bay had a great year. They played I forget who for the in the championship game, but the other coach played them. I had it last night. Can't find it. Got fired last night for losing, I guess, to Green Bay. So I take Texas A&M.
All right, we got Oregon State, which was a surprise to me. They changed coaches. They're going back to the NCAA Tournament, taking on VCU, which also has a new coach, the kid from Chattanooga. Oregon State, VCU, a 7-10 matchup.
I'm going to take 10. I'm going to take VCU. I don't have much confidence in Oregon State. They never have had very good basketball. They know they've improved it some. Like Barry said, they've got a new coach. They used to have the president's wife's brother. He lost his job finally. So VCU, I'm going to take them to beat Oregon State.
All right, Oklahoma, Cal State, Bakersfield, a 2-15 matchup.
Yeah, Oklahoma's good. They're sound. They got Buddy Hield playing. He's very good. So I'm going to take Oklahoma.
All right, sliding up to the east in the first round, North Carolina versus my man Joe Dooley in Florida Gulf Coast, who hammered Fairleigh Dickinson in the first round.
Joe's got a good team. North Carolina is playing better. They're playing better defensively. They struggled, I think, throughout the year, the games they lost, by not defending very well. They never switch on defense, and I think that's a mistake. So I would take North Carolina, but if you're looking for an upset situation, then that's possible. One.
One's never lost to a 16.
Yeah, boy, if you pick that, what's it going to hurt you? You'd be a genius.
All right, in the 8-9 game, Southern Cal versus Providence.
I'm going to take Providence. I don't like Southern Cal. I'll take Providence in that game.
All right, in the 5-12 game, Indiana versus Chattanooga.
I think of all of the upsets, of all the upsets you're trying to find, this will be the one that you could take. I'm going to take Indiana, but I'm going to take them not sure. I think Chattanooga has a very good chance to beat Indiana. I can't guarantee it, but if you're looking for a real upset, this would be a very, very good game.
On the Chattanooga, you don't really believe it.
On the panel, I was on the other night up at Louisville. A couple of them picked Chattanooga, who keep up with it better than I do. So if you want to, I'm just telling the fans what they can or can't do. They can do what they want to. So if you want to take Chattanooga, you're not stupid.
Well, there's always a 5-12 upset anyway. Kentucky will take on Stony Brook today. Kentucky.
I'm thinking about taking Stony Brook to lose. So Kentucky will take them. Kentucky's. Here's the thing, folks. Stony Brook is got good team, bad name. You got a bad name, man. Stony Brook, you're yawning, and there it's the 13th seed. But you still, if you're Kentucky, you have to be ready to play. You can't go in there duck goosing around and get your fanny beat because you think Stony Brook's no good and they got a crazy name. Okay.
All right, Notre Dame versus Michigan, who beat Tulsa last night.
Well, I would love to take Michigan. John Beeline's a friend of mine. He came over to Little Rock and played us when he was coaching at Richmond. And we were fortunate enough to beat him, the reason I say that. But he's a very, very good basketball coach. I'm going to take Notre Dame this game.
All right, and then below that, we got West Virginia versus Stephen F. Austin, who has really put on a nice run here the last couple of years. Former coach of South Carolina, but West Virginia, Stephen F. Austin, in the 3-14 matchup.
Well, West Virginia, if I were playing in the NCAA and I looked up and had drew West Virginia, I wouldn't like it. West Virginia is very hard to play. They'll be hard to play. They make you turn the ball over. They're not a great team. Florida killed them. But I would take West Virginia in this game. I think they're hard to play.
All right, Wisconsin, Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't know. Most people are picking Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with Wisconsin. I like the way Wisconsin plays. They got a guy that was assistant coach as long as I was. He got the job. He's done a great job in taking Wisconsin.
All right, we got Xavier Weber State.
Yeah, Weber State. Xavier. Yeah, Xavier, as most of you know, they never lose at Xavier, but they're not playing there. But I'm still going to take them because 2's playing to 15, and 2 should be to 15. We never know, but I'd take Xavier.
All right, slide down to the Midwest bracket. We got to take a break here in just 1 second. We got Virginia versus Hampton.
I think Virginia, they're well coached, hard to play, good defensively, great shot selection. Virginia's terrific basketball team, so I'd take Virginia.
Well, you got Virginia there. Then one more before we get to break. I think it's a tough game to pick. It's the 8-9 Texas Tech will take on Baylor.
Well, my buddy Tubby Smith, who I interviewed for a job here one time, is coaching Texas Tech. They've done a terrific job, I think. I'm going to take Butler.
All right, so you're taking Butler?
Yeah, I am.
All right, Butler. All right, we're getting on through the first round. Here's a tough game to pick here to beat Purdue and Little Rock.
Okay, I think Little Rock is very, very good defensively. They were able to get some late players out of the state of Texas after Chris took this job. I would pick Purdue. Purdue has been through, some tough Big Ten games. I would pick Purdue, but if you feel like you're looking for an upset, Little Rock would be a good pick for you.
All right, so are you taking Purdue or Little Rock?
Yeah, I'm taking Purdue.
All right, Purdue. All right, we got Iowa State, Steve Prohm, taking on Iona.
Well, I don't know much about Iona at all. I know Steve's team is good. They probably a little bit lack defensively, but they're good, and they won some big games. And when you follow somebody that's been successful, as he's had to do, it makes it even more difficult for you in the coaching end of it. So I would just, based on Iona being a 13 and not knowing a lot about them, I would take Iowa State.
All right, Iowa State. We got Seton Hall, 6-11 game, which has been more upsets than the 6-11. There have been the 5-12 here recently. Seton Hall versus Gonzaga, who won their tournament. Many people were saying Gonzaga wouldn't be in the tournament. They are, and they're taking on Seton Hall, who won the Big East.
Well, I've had a hard time trying to decide when other brackets I've messed with for people. I'd probably take Seton Hall in this game, although I know Mark real well, a few that coaches Gonzaga, and he's very good, and their teams always play very hard. I would take Seton Hall.
Utah versus 3, taking on Fresno State, the 14.
I think I'd take Utah. I don't know a lot about Fresno State, just because of 3 and 14. Utah's a 3. I know Utah plays fast and plays pretty darn good. I'd take Utah.
All right, Dayton versus Jim Boeheim in Syracuse.
Well, the one thing about Dayton is they'll know exactly what they need to do to get ready, because Jim and his team, Boeheim, who's very good, will play 2-3 zone regardless to make any difference. And they'll be a hard matchup for Dayton. However, I'm going to take Dayton in this game.
All right, so you're going to take Dayton over Syracuse. With that zone, it's very tough to play. All right, in the last game of the first round that you're going to pick will be Michigan State versus Kermit Davis in Middle Tennessee.
Well, Middle Tennessee representing Conference USA, the same league that UAB is in. UAB got beat course, as you know, and lost again last night to BYU. But I would take Michigan State. I think Michigan State is hard-nosed. They play hard. They're good on both ends of the floor, and they seem to be, the games that I've seen over the years, generally ready to play. And I think being ready to play is a big key. I take Michigan State.
Right, so that takes care of the first round. We'll look here in the second round now. We're going up to the South region. We're going to go all the way to the South now, just take it all the way to the Final Four. Kansas, UConn.
Kansas. Take Kansas.
Kansas, all right. Maryland, Hawaii.
Take Hawaii in an upset.
Oh, Lord, you got Hawaii going to the Sweet 16. Arizona, Miami.
Arizona and Miami. I'm going to take Miami because I want them to win.
Right. Miami. All right. Going with your heart, not your head. Iowa, Villanova.
No, I picked Temple in an upset in that game. I picked Temple to play Villanova.
I'm sorry. So you want Temple, not Iowa?
I didn't pick Iowa.
All right. So Temple, Villanova.
Temple's playing Villanova. I take Villanova.
Villanova. All right. Staying in the South, we're going to the Elite Eight. Kansas and Hawaii.
Take Kansas. Hawaii finally goes back to the house.
Hawaii goes back to Hawaii. Miami versus Villanova. Hello?
Yeah.
Miami, Villanova.
I got it. I'm going to go with Miami.
All right. Now we're going on to Miami, Kansas.
Kansas.
So you got Kansas going to the Final Four. All right. Slipping back down to the West region in the second round. Oregon versus St. Joseph.
Oregon.
Taking Oregon there, versus the 8.
Yeah.
Baylor and Duke.
I'm going to take Baylor in this game. I think Duke is shorthanded, very well coached. Now, let me tell you something. Baylor could go south and not even make this game because they're capable of going south, although they are very capable of going a long way. So I'm taking Baylor.
You're taking Baylor?
I am.
All right. We got Texas A&M.
Well, I'm going with my heart. I think it's going to be a hard game for Billy's team. I think it's going to be a hard game for A&M, but I'm going to take A&M to beat Texas. I wish the game wasn't even being played. I don't like it, but I'll take A&M.
All right. We got VCU versus Oklahoma.
I'm going to take VCU in upset.
All right, VCU. All right, going back up, Oregon, Baylor.
Oregon and Baylor. I'll take Baylor. Number one's out.
Yeah, more faith in Scott Drew than me. All right, Texas A&M, VCU.
A&M.
A&M. All right, now we got.
I had Texas A&M was playing Texas, weren't they?
You know, you have them beating Texas.
Okay. Texas A&M and who?
And VCU.
Okay. Who did I say? I take Texas A&M.
Yeah, so now we got Texas A&M Baylor. He goes to the Final Four.
Not Texas A&M Baylor. Does that who? Okay, I'll take Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, yeah.
Texas A&M's pretty good.
Do I?
Texas A&M's pretty good. I don't know if they're Final Four team.
Slipping up to I'm in the Final Four now.
I know that.
I hope you're right. North Carolina, Providence.
Providence good, boy. They got two good guards. I'll take North Carolina.
North Carolina. Indiana, Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Taking the Big Blue.
Kentucky. I'd take Kentucky, and I'd give the points.
Notre Dame versus West Virginia.
I'll take West Virginia because they press. You can't get ready for them quick enough. I'll take West Virginia.
All right, Wisconsin, Xavier.
I'll probably go with Xavier. I probably made a mistake in Wisconsin, but I'll go with Xavier.
All right, yeah, Xavier sliding on. All right, going back up to the top of that bracket. North Carolina, Kentucky.
I'll take Kentucky.
Kentucky. West Virginia versus Xavier.
Take West Virginia.
All right, then we got Kentucky, West Virginia.
Kentucky.
All right,
I'll
sliding.
change this thing, everybody. Every time I talk to somebody, I change it. Go
All
ahead.
right, sliding down to the Midwest, Virginia and Butler.
Virginia.
I hope I'm getting all these in right. All right, Butler. I'm sorry, Purdue, Iowa State. In a 4-5 matchup.
I'm going to take Purdue.
Purdue. All right, we got Seton Hall and Utah in the Midwest region.
I'm going to take Utah.
Utah. All right, we got Dayton versus Michigan.
Michigan State.
No, I'm sorry, Michigan State, not Michigan.
I'll take Michigan State.
There ain't no big secret time is, though. You can't bet against him in the tournament. All right, we got Virginia and Purdue.
Take Virginia.
Virginia. All right. We got sliding down to the Midwest, Utah versus Michigan State.
I'm going to take Michigan State, but for you people that are questioning what I think, it ain't going to hurt you to take Utah. I'm going to take Michigan State.
All right. Then that's up to Virginia. You're kind of going chalk in that region. Virginia, Michigan State.
I'm going to take Michigan State.
All right, so your final four, we got who we got here? Texas A&M, Michigan.
I don't have Michigan.
Huh?
Michigan State.
Michigan State. Yeah, I keep saying Michigan. Michigan State, and Kentucky, Kansas, and Texas A&M. So we'll get you to pick those that final four there when we get back from break. Digging back into the bracket, just about done. We're down to the final four now. Two Big 12, or former Big 12 in Texas A&M will take on Kansas in your one Final Four bracket. Who are you taking, Kansas, Texas A&M?
Kansas.
All right, Kansas. Then we got Kentucky. Will take on Michigan State. A 4-2 matchup. Who are you taking in that game?
Michigan State.
Michigan State. So then that puts our national championship game. Kansas versus Michigan State.
Well, take Michigan State.
So you got Tom Izzo going to cut the nets down. I guess we got total points in the championship game as a tiebreaker. What is your total point?
Total points? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, championship game. Total points.
Total points of both teams?
Yeah.
144.
144. All right, you are locked in now. Let me hit the save the picks.